Hello everyone and welcome to this adaptive panel tutorial. So as you can see here I have a project with a pavilion that I made a while ago. I have created a rhomboid panel. So if I go into the family, I just double click and I have this adaptive panel that you can see. This is my base panel. So I'm going to teach you how to do just right that. So we have these references. Um, so to get started, I will start a new family. This is based on a massing to put this type of panel. I'm not sure if something is hidden. Yes, it's a bit hidden. I'm hiding view elements or category. Let me see if I can see the plane. It seems that no, maybe in fine detail, no. You can see that there is a plane that is perfectly set to shaded, maybe shaded or consistent colors, no. Uh, okay, so it doesn't seem so evident, but you can see the contour. So onto a surface that you create with massing, you basically add some panels and you have some divisions. And I will teach you how to do this. So without further ado, let's get started and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we have file, new, family, and we have this curtain panel pattern base, but this is English Imperial. So I'll go to English simple. This is automatically metric. And let's see thumbnails, larger thumbnails. Can I make them bigger? It doesn't seem like so. Maybe if I can see them. Let's see, do we have other adaptive things? The conceptual mass is here, so you can start with defining the surface on a metric mass, something like here. So let's do a conceptual mass. And here in the conceptual mass, we're going to define the surface. For defining a surface, we most likely will need some reference planes to draw some stuff. So we will basically create some reference planes, RP, and we'll draw some lines. We are in an isometric view, but if we snap, we can have such planes, and I think I'll copy some of those. Let's check some distances, because here the distances are very large. So if I go onto the top, but unfortunately can't see to be able to select, maybe here in floor plan, yes. Oh, I have 17 and 14 meters. Let's make it EQ. Okay, so that's quite large, but let's say the pavilion's 30 by 30 meters or 20 by 20, so it's a reasonable dimension, I guess. I'll copy this as well, just to have some references. Okay, so yeah, we have this. Now we go into the 3D view, click shift, and we have this area. So when you do massing in general, you have two ways. You have model line and the reference line. The model line, so it's something that it's in 3D, but it's more subject to change. The reference lines, it's more pinned, let's say. It's something that guides all everything around. So if you do a reference line, it won't be as easily moved as a model line. So when you do a reference line, it means that everything will snap to it. So and the reference line can also have some points that have can be placed at, let's say, half of the length, or I know it's sort of guideline. Um, in my case, I will use a model line, and in the family itself of the panel, I will show you where you use the reference lines. Because, so yeah, I'll use, I think I'll go into the right view. So I selected the model line, and now I should set, so you have model line, set the line type. I think I'll use a spline, and I'll draw on a work plane. I'll draw on this work plane, and I think this is selected. Let's draw some points, something like this, uh, like an arch. So press escape, and now we have an arch. And now I go to the right elevation, and I think I'll drag this arch lower, something like this. And I'll try to drag as well these points. Click tab to be able to, and I'll try to create, let's say, my custom arch. So this offers some sort of flexibility. I like using this spline through points. It's kind of flexible, and yeah, it allows you to do many things. I think I'll move it more to the right. And now if we switch, so basically it's the middle profile. I think this will be the smallest one. And now I can do another model line, draw on a work plane, set work plane. That will be the work plane. And I think if I'm here to the right, now I can do use the spline tool again and do, let's say, a bigger arch on here, something like this. Ideally you would want for the to keep the same, let's say, number of points on the spline. If not, I don't know if it will be such an error. Maybe I can delete this. Yes, it seems that it's kind of deletable. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, whatever. Maybe I'll add another one if it is possible. Let me see. No, it actually isn't possible. Yeah, so I don't know, I don't think it's so relevant to have that. We'll check anyway. Okay, and now I'll create another model line with spline with points. Draw on work plane. I think I can set the work plane, and I see the blue plane that is selected, and that means that I work on that plane. Now I put myself onto the right plane, and now I think I can draw yet again something close to it, something like this, like this, like this, and like this, something like this. Okay, escape. Let's see if it plays in the right direction. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied. Now I go into the front elevation and click tab to adjust my points. I think it will be useful to see some elevations. So east, let's say east elevation and south elevation. And I think I've used this view tile views, and so I want to check in parallel. So for example, I want to correlate myself east and south, and the other views I just escape them. Oh, I can also see my other projects, so this is useful to keep a hand of whatever you have. So this is already created, and we are going to create, so basically we do this shape. If you observe, we do this shape. That's our objective. Okay, so we have everything in place, and now we're just playing around, moving some that what's great about BIM in general, you have this bi-directional associativity, or that's the main term, I would say multi-view associativity. So if you change a thing in a view, you can see it in another view. That's the greatest plus that have, and that's why it is important to have both of the windows opened. Okay, and I think I'll switch to another arc, and I have that vertex, which is annoying. Let's see where it is. Actually, for the purpose of this exercise, it's not that important. The important is have to the shape itself. The rest of the handling you do it yourself. So you have these. So we will not waste time on playing around too much with these vertices because the principle is the same. You select the vertex. We, and you move it on the axis up or down or within the plane, and that's okay, you know. And then you switch to another view and you have this gizmo. If you can see, I can move him out to be in the 3D. For the moment it's directly snapped onto the plane, but if you move it on the red direction, you see that I will basically have a 3D arch. That's how you do it. So for the moment I'll keep it as is. uh, Maybe I would like to have that kind of arch and maybe extend these vertices, something like this, let's say. If I want something more arch, I do only this kind of change, let's say, but the other parameters won't be changed as much. So something like this that looks nice but also practical. Okay, I move this vertex as well. And I think if I go in a 3D, not in the section, here I click this guy and I move like this, something like this, you can see that I have my arch defined into the space. Oh, I can also move that point into the 3D. I think this will be more handy. So something like this, you know, and maybe you position yourself depending on this. So this might work as well. Depends how precise you want to be, or you want to just create a generic, let's say, generic shape. This vertex is done. This looks great. So basically I will have that shape that you saw over here. You see that I have some well-defined arches, just like I did here. And after I have these arches, now I can create my massing shape, and I will click Control and click on all those three model lines. And here up above I have create form. Just as like for the, let's say, extrusions, void or not, we have solid or void form. So this works in the same principle. I will create a solid form. And now you can see that I have this massing, which is very interesting. It looks something like Rhino. So this is basically a loft through three curves. Yeah, so Revit, by this massing you can create Rhino-like lofts. This helps you do shapes like for Zaha Hadid kind of buildings and so on. Unfortunately, it's not as flexible as Rhino. Rhino is more permissive in this regard, so some workflows won't be as well suited. But for the time being, this is the perfect option. So we have this, and we also have some interesting features. We have divide surface. That is how you define the grid that helps you with the let's say panel. Because you have several panels here. Have no pattern, you have arrows, you have, I don't know, hexagon, you have octagon, you have octagon rotate. So you have also, oh, so it looks as if you could, if you have a sphere, create something like a football. Yeah, it looks interesting. Nevertheless, so you have many patterns. I think the most probable pattern is this one, the rectangle. Let's check the grid here. What is it? Oh, it is rhomboid. Okay. So in our case, we will use the rhomboid panel. I thought we'll use the rectangle, but it seems that we have to find this rhomboid panel, which is after the rectangle checkerboard. So we have this rhomboid. So this is what we will be using. In a sense, it is right because have these rhomboid shapes and basically it guides itself. And this is a rhomboid, this is a rhomboid, this is a rhomboid, you know, and it's basically a lattice of rhomboids. This is a bit too dense of a lattice, and you can reduce the subdivision level. So you have U grid and V grid, and you can adjust here. So I can do like 5, and now I have reduced my grid, but I still have 10, so I can reduce it again, and I have, I think, reduce, and I think I am kind of closer to the pattern you see here, but I think that those modules are a bit more narrower. So let's see if I make 10 of these U grid. Yeah, this kind looks of the kind of the closest to the pattern, so I think this looks good. Okay, so we're kind of ready with the massing. So that's how massing and patterns works. Um, basic, let's say a basic loft. There can be done many more shapes, but I will explain in another tutorial. So this was the first part of the tutorial. In the second part, I'm going to create this panel effectively, and we'll see how it works. First of all, before ending the video, I will save that family as let's say massing family pavilion. Okay. I saw that I have a folder and I can show you my project, how it turned out. So I also did a model, let's say downloads, and I had here, and so this is my project, and I have my, so this is basically how it turned out, and this is the model, this is the context, so where it needed something to be basically protected. So yeah, basically this is it. Thank you for joining in, and I can't wait to show you how the panel is done. So see you around and stay tuned for part 2.